Every year, between August 16th until the 20th, 5 days are enshrined to the dead. This is how the Obon Festival is celebrated. It's a period that all dead people release from their graves. So in order to calm these damned souls, the people used to unleash Peony Lanterns over the river. And it's in this gloomy environment that the story unfolds. So if you follow movies by year in Japan, for some reason 1968 had a ton of Japanese ghost movies. And then all of a sudden after that they just went away for a while, and then they eventually came back years later. But I always wonder why this year had so many. So, Peony Lantern is a 1968 Japanese ghost movie. But this movie actually goes by a few names. Tale of Peony Lanterns, Ghost Story of Peonies and Stone Lanterns, and even The Bride of Hades. So you can find this one under quite a few names. So the story itself takes place during feudal Japan. It follows a young man who's from a rich household, but he decides to turn his back on all the riches and arrogance of his class. Instead, he wants to just live a simple and useful life, and that's by teaching the children of the poor. He's a guy who has a dream to do good. But during the Obon Festival, which is for the dead, he witnesses a traditional ceremony where lanterns are made to float on the water down the river. But he notices that two of the lanterns get caught up by some of the trees, so they're not floating down. So he frees them and he allows them to float down the river, and then he notices two ladies standing there. The two ladies strongly insist on thanking him for his kindness. One of them is a middle-aged servant, and the other is more of a delicate maiden of rare beauty. And after this, it moves in a spooky direction. So, as with most Yamamoto films, the emphasis here is more so on the side characters rather than the actual leads. With that said, my favorite character is Bonzo, the town drunk. I just found this guy to be really funny. I also just thought it was really funny how he was the one that always ends up seeing all the scary stuff. He also has the misfortune of walking into his friend who's doing something with a ghost, which is also kind of weird just for the viewer as well, I'll add. It could technically be necrophilia, but we won't go there. So, the curiosity of death itself, especially in the form of a seductive ghost, it's definitely something we've seen a lot in Japanese ghost stories. In particular, the films Ghosts of Yotsuya, Kuroneko, Kaidan, they definitely come to mind. But the difference here just being director Satsuo Yamamoto's playful depiction of it. Anyway, I just want to say that this film is just beautifully shot and scored. It gives a good sense of what a dark and sticky summer night of the Obon Festival would actually be like. I just really love ghost stories that are set during feudal Japan. You could call them samurai horror movies. There's actually quite a lot in the 60s, but it's sort of a genre in itself. But I think this time period is when ghosts were the most creepy. You get the sense that you can't really escape from them, you just kind of have to deal with them. There's no technology to just get you out of there. Also, during that time, it was the norm to just believe in ghosts. So it's interesting how characters will just accept that there is a ghost. I actually found this movie by accident. I watched it on Daily Motion, so I'll provide the link for you. You guys can watch it for free. I will warn you though, there is a lot of annoying ads, so... And as for just getting this on physical media, I saw some on eBay, but they're kind of pricey. And eventually I do plan on definitely owning this film. I did enjoy it, but I'm just gonna wait till there's a good release. Maybe Arrow or Criterion will give us a nice Blu-ray of this. It's definitely a great J-horror film. and I really just enjoy the atmosphere and time period. It's got some pretty creepy locations, creepy imagery. Not all the special effects really work. Sometimes it's just fake skeletons, but it's part of the charm. But I will say there is definitely some really well-made creepy moments in this. There was something definitely special about the tale being told in this film, and it kind of struck me as universal. I've actually known people here in the US that still believe that there's specific times of the year when the border between the land of the dead and the land of the living are thin. And during those times, maybe you could see spirits or ghosts. And usually that's during Halloween. So some of these beliefs definitely still do exist today, but they've definitely gone through some cultural and religious changes. Anyway, I highly recommend this, especially for the month of October. Especially if you like the films Ghosts of Yotsuya or even Kaidan. It's definitely in that category. Thanks for watching.